I knew the child, Ajoke, right from birth. He would lock her up in a room for months. I'm not telling you weeks, so months.
She's his actual daughter.
Ajoke was bold enough to confront him. I see her as a hero. She was brave. TB Joshua told me every 2,000 years, God sends a savior, that he is the next person in line now.
The message about Ajoke was that she had terrible evil spirits that needed to be driven out. I don't think he wanted anyone to know who she was.
I stared myself in the mirror a lot of times, and maybe I do look like him, maybe. For as long as I can remember, I have been raised as TB Joshua's daughter. My existence as a child from another mother undermined everything he claimed to stand for.
He hated her, and he punished her for being born. Her existence was probably the biggest threat to his reputation.
I feel like, you know what, maybe I really don't deserve to be alive.
There was a time in the disciples' meetings, he said that people could beat her. Anyone in the female dormitory could just hit her, and I saw people just walking in, just slapping her as they walked past.
There was a particular time that I was very tired.
So he started like shouting at her to get up, to get up, to get up. And there was another disciple there who basically took her and took her to the shower and whipped her with an electrical cord and then turned the hot water on.
Put my head right on the hot water. I was screaming at the top of my voice, and he just let the water run on my head for a very long time. We're talking about years and years of abuse, consistent abuse, abuse that wasn't ending.
What's her fault? What has that girl done? It pains me. She was still very young that time. Can you imagine how heartless we were?
Things like that, it's scary to talk about, it's really shameful. Like that I witnessed that and I didn't do anything to help her. He took people who were good, caring, kind, lovely people, and he turned them into monsters.
He designed a system for deceiving all of us disciples.
He would always ask you, when you come, did anybody see you? You'd be like, no, sir. Then he would rape me again. It was a process, a very nasty cycle.
A lot of women were being abused by this man. I had no idea. I thought I was the only one.
I didn't know that that thing had happened to anybody else.
The God I was introduced to is evil. He's diabolic because this is the same God that would sleep with us. This is the same God that would beat us up. This is the same God that would manipulate us. You have no idea of what I went through.
These are children of 16, 17 years. He kept all of us in slavery. Total, absolute slavery.
Too many people were saying the same thing. Accounts firsthand of people who had experienced sexual abuse.
She got to know who he was. And she could not manage it quietly. She escalated it.
I couldn't take it anymore. I walked directly into his office and I went off. I shouted at the top of my voice, "Why are you doing all of this? Why are you hurting all of these women?" I had lost every iota of fear for this man. He tried to, stare me down, but I was looking at his eyes.
He was the first person that started hitting her. Then other people joined. Even as much as they were hitting her, beating her, she was still saying the same thing she was saying. She said it plainly to him.
The disciples dragged me out to the office. I was put in a room totally isolated from the rest of the church. My dad, he had fear, constant fear. He was very afraid that someone would speak up, could turn around and make him answer to those things that he had done. I wonder how I lived through that time, because they were hitting me with belts, chains. I couldn't even stand up for days after this beating. I couldn't take a shower. He was trying so hard to stop people from listening to me.
This child could see what we couldn't see and wouldn't yield to the lies and was punished for it.
What matters to him was his reputation. And he's ready to sacrifice anyone just to keep that name, even his own daughter.
Every day, the beatings were not ceasing. Eventually, this disciple escorted me to the front of the church gate and then just left me there. I found myself homeless.
The securities of the church, he has given them instruction. This girl should never come close to the gate. He doesn't want to even hear that she existed.
I had nobody to reach out to. No one would believe me. Nothing prepared me for that life.
She was sent on the street as a beggar. And her dad is a multi-millionaire. And this is the same person that will come out on TV doing charity, giving people a bag of rice. You know how it is to survive in the street of Lagos? It was as good as she was given a death sentence. He never loved people. He never cared for people. He was just an opportunist feeding on vulnerable young people.
I go through my days where I'm at my lowest point, and honestly, I just want more peace, like tranquility, stability.
I lost everything, my home, my family. But for me, it comes down to the truth. And for as long as there is breath in me, I'll defend that until the very end.